Welcome to the Church of Thomas, Serving God, 8-10-08. We all have plans for our futures, and in some nebulous way, most of us see God in the picture somewhere. Our egos usually dictate our paths. The big house we want, and the lucrative job, we think of as our due. The way I see it, all of us can plan all we want, but God has the destination picked out for us. The lines are drawn. It is how we color in our coloring book that matters. Try to make your picture a good one, a picture in harmony with God's will for you. Color inside the lines the best that you can. When things seem to be going a direction that you do not want, try to breathe. When your best laid plans unravel, no matter what you do, relax. When your prayers do not seem to be answered to your liking, know that God may have answered you in ways that you will not see until the time is right. Some people think that if they do not get the form of answer they desire from God, that God is not listening. They feel unloved if they do not fulfill their own plans for their lives. Sometimes the answers to our prayers is no. We may be trying to get out of some lesson we need. There may be something marvelous waiting for us. God may have something coming into our lives that is far better than the junk food in life that we desire. I recently got a story passed on to me that I think illustrates the vanity of our plans when God has great things in store for us. We may get our wish only to realize it was something God wanted all along. Our goal is to regulate our lives by praying for the greater good that we can achieve. The story is called 3 Trees. Once there were 3 trees on a hill in the woods. They were discussing their hopes and dreams when the first tree said, "Someday I hope to be a treasure chest. I could be filled with gold, silver, and precious gems. I could be decorated with intricate carving and everyone would see the beauty." Then the second tree said, "Someday I will be a mighty ship. I will take queens and kings across the waters and sail to the corners of the world. Everyone will feel safe in me because of the strength of my hull." Finally, the third tree said, "I want to grow to be the tallest and straightest tree in the forest. People will see me on top of the hill and look up at my branches and think of the heavens and God and how close to them I am reaching. I will be the greatest tree of all time and people will always remember me." After a few years of praying that their dreams would come true, a group of woodsmen came upon the trees. When one came to the first tree, he said, "This looks like a strong tree. I think I should be able to sell the wood to a carpenter." And he began to cut it down. The tree was happy because he knew that the carpenter would make him into a treasure chest. At the second tree, the woodsman said, "This looks like a strong tree. I should be able to sell it to a shipyard." The second tree was happy because he knew he was on his way to becoming a mighty ship. When the woodsman came upon the third tree, the tree was frightened because he knew that if they cut him down, his dreams would not come true. One of the woodsmen said, "I don't need anything special from my tree. I'll take this one." And he cut it down. When the first tree arrived at the carpenter's, he was made into a feed box for animals. He was then placed in a barn and filled with hay. This was not at all what he had prayed for. The second tree was cut and made into a small fishing boat. His dreams of being a mighty ship and carrying kings had come to an end. The third tree was cut into large pieces and left alone in the dark. The years went by and the trees forgot about their dreams. Then one day, a man and a woman came to the barn. She gave birth and they placed the baby in the hay, in the feed box that was made from the first tree. The man wished that he could have made a crib for the baby, but this manger would have to do. The tree could feel the importance of this event and knew that it held the greatest treasure of all time. Years later, a group of men got in a fishing boat made from the second tree. One of them was tired and went to sleep. While they were out on the water, a great storm arose, and the tree didn't think it was strong enough to keep the men safe. The men awoke, and the men woke the sleeping man, and he stood and said, "Peace," and the storm stopped. This time the tree knew that it had carried the King of Kings in its boat. Finally, someone came and got the third tree. It was carried through the streets as the people mocked the man who was carrying it. When they came to a stop, the man was nailed to the tree and raised in the air to die at the top of a hill. When Sunday came, the tree came to realize that it was strong enough to stand at the top of the hill and be as close to God as possible because Jesus had been crucified on it. The moral of this story is that when things don't seem to be going your way, always know that God has a plan for you. If you place your trust in Him, God will give you great gifts. Each of the trees got what they wanted, just not the way they had imagined. We don't always know what God's plans are for us. We just know that His ways are not our ways, but His ways are always best. In God's time, all that is good and wonderful will come to you. Trust in God's plan and be at peace. God bless the whole world, no exceptions. Angel Eliza.